It's Thursday, August 8th, and you're listening to the Geek at Geek News Central, the longest continuous running tech podcast. This is show number 881, sponsored in part by GoDaddy.com. Our August GoDaddy special, customers get 32% off a new order at GoDaddy by using the promo code GO32OFF1 or .com for $2.49. Geek News Central is a proud member of the Tech Podcast Network. I got a great show lined up for you tonight. I got something kind of funny to share with you guys. You guys are gonna laugh. I was actually called a patent troll tonight. We'll talk about it in a few minutes, but you guys know what comes next. If I get the buttons right, strap in. Here it comes.
All right, people, I need a go, no-go for the Geek News Central podcast. Digital archive recorders.
We're go fly.
Microphone.
We're go fly.
Video feed.
Go.
Web browser.
Go.
RSS data stream aggregator.
Go fly.
Interflux Toddism suppressor.
All right, I'm confused.
Host readiness check.
Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show.
The Geek News Central podcast is a proud member of the Tech Podcast Network. If it's tech, it's here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are ready to go. Cue Todd in
5,
Button, who's got the button?
4,
There's no cause for alarm.
3,
Everybody hold on to something.
2,
Just press the button.
1.
Aloha, and welcome to Geek News Central, coming to you live as it can be from the beautiful state of Hawaii via the Geek News Central studio overlooking Greater Honolulu. Hey, everyone, welcome to the show. Glad you're here. Hey, I'm going to tell you, we got a great show lined up for you tonight. It's been absolutely mayhem here. I've been just about to task saturation since we made our Raw Voice Certified announcement. But we'll talk about that just in a few minutes, along with a whole bunch of other stuff as well. But warm welcome to all the Ohana longtime listeners and viewers of the show. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being part of the family. And if you're new, checking out the show for the very first time, I want to encourage you to come over to geeknewscentral.com and got lots of great stuff on the website. The team of writers have been putting lots of cool stuff out, lots of nice new articles. We'll talk about some of that tonight in the tech space. So get that out. Of course, a new edition of the Gadget Professor was put online tonight. Yesterday, Langley put out the robot underpants. So lots of stuff happening here. And, of course, if you're new, the second column of the website, you're going to find information there on how to subscribe to the show via the RSS feed. And, hey, the best thing about this show is you don't have to watch it live. You can watch it post-show as well. We're on Google TV. We're on the Roku, Boxy, Samsung Smart TV. Soon, all our apps are going to have the Chrome feature put in, Chromecast feature. And they're excited about that. Of course, you can use that right on the website now with a Chrome browser. But got a Chromecast to give away tonight. This will be I think the number 3rd one we've given away. So we've got a winner pick for that already. We'll get into that in a few seconds. But hey, you can always reach out to me. It's real easy to do here on the show. It's not hard at all. Just email me, geeknews@gmail.com. You can call our hotline at 619-342-7365 and leave an audio comment. Of course, you can reach me on Twitter at Geek News. Lots going on. I'm going to tell you, it's been a crazy week. We made the announcement. Of course, I talked about the Raw Voice Certified on the Monday night show, and that Tuesday morning, the press release popped, and we started to see this upswell of commentary, tweets, Google Plus, Facebook comments, and then Wednesday, my phone literally exploded. I mean, it just it was crazy. Press people, other people in the business, you name it. It was like one continuous call, one after the other, from about literally 5 a.m. Honolulu Standard Time to about 5 or 6 p.m. in the evening. So it was a good day. We had a good day. We struck a nerve, and lots of new companies coming on board. We're really excited what we've got rolling here. But so anyway, we got a little more about that in a little bit later here. But hey, tonight's show, of course, is sponsored in part by our good friends over at GoDaddy. And GoDaddy has been here since really nearly the beginning, July of 2005. And if you think about that, 8 years plus as a sponsor, putting together deals for you that are going to save you a lot of money. And that's what it's really all about. And they carried over, and I have to just give you guys a heads up. I got the reporting in for the July performance on, every month I get a report that shows how we did for a number of new customers, people that use promo codes, which promo codes worked, which ones didn't. And you guys came through. I just want to thank you for July. I made July a good month. It really did. A round of applause to this audience. Thank you for supporting our sponsor. But, and that's, I think, why they continued the campaign in the with the codes what they did. And of course, the codes are continuing this month with the 32% off code by using the promo code GO32OFF1 and the $2.49.com. Now that if you click on that, that's going to take is what they've done here is they've made it so you can get through their shopping cart a lot faster. You pick the domain, and it's like 2 steps, and you are actually at the checkout counter. You don't have to go through a bunch of different pages to have these other offers pushed up in front of you, get a this or get a that, get you in, get you out. And that's what's really important. So that $2.49.com, it can't be beat. Of course, 32% off code can be used on any new product order. Now, don't forget, if you're renewing a product or just, basically you've got something you want to buy and you want to get a little bigger savings, just come over to geekingcentral.com/GoDaddy, and all the codes are there. Anything from a 15 or 20% off. There's a 10% off on non-domain orders. Renewals on .coms are $8.49. We've got cashbacks, $5, $10, and $20 back based upon how much you spend. The SSL certificates at $12.99. So really, there's a lot of good value there, depending on really what you're looking for and how you want to mix things up. And that's the best part. And we can save you a lot of money on whatever you're doing over at GoDaddy. And the thousands of you over the years who have become a GoDaddy customer and remain a GoDaddy customer, we want to thank you a lot for that. Okay, so and if you're new, hey, just equal footing there as well. So let me look at my stack here, and then I'll kind of get into some of the stuff that has been kind of nutso here. Okay, I've got all through that. Hey, we're streaming up on Ustream tonight. So, of course, as soon as the show goes down on Ustream, we're streaming on YouTube tonight. And as soon as we bring the live stream down on YouTube, we come up on live stream and push on that. At some point, I'm going to start pushing dual streams again. But at this point, been really kind of, testing out the whole YouTube platform. And to be honest with you, I'm really, really pleased with it from a engagement standpoint. So anyway, and a couple of people in the chat room tonight. Hey, Dale, Spitballs, guys, welcome to the show. Thanks for being here. And so let's talk just a little bit here. This coming Saturday, I'm going to tell you, if you are a content creator, you're going to want to tune in to this Saturday show. We're going to have Norm Petix on. He's with Westwood One or Podcast One, and they're really tearing things up. And I think we're going to have a great conversation. Norm is very, very passionate about the space. Norm was behind Westwood One, and any of you that are in, and remember, can just do a little research. You're going to know what a powerhouse, powerhouse Westwood One was and is, and they do some stuff for ESPN as well. But anyway, exciting stuff with them, and I'm going to have him on Saturday at 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 noon Eastern. Matter of fact, some of the staffers, we're going to do a Skype check tomorrow morning to make sure everything's dialed in from an action standpoint. And we've had some people that have come in and become insiders since the last show. I want to thank you guys for that. Those that have come in and supported the show with a financial donation. Definitely appreciate it, and congratulations. So we're giving a Chromecast away, and the winner is Michael Stenson. Michael Stenson, and he was we didn't have as many people this go-around apply to win. So congratulations to Michael Stenson for his win. And definitely we will, as a matter of fact, Amazon just kind of announced that they're shipping again, I guess. So that's good. And so anyway, Chromecast galore here giveaway. And we'll do something. Actually, let me just talk next. There will be no Monday show with me. I'm looking for a replacement. I have to, based upon everything that's been going on in really the past 48 to 72 hours, I have to head off to the mainland. And very exciting time. We're doing lots of cool stuff. We're really going to kind of keep it down on the lowdown on exactly what's going on, just from a privacy standpoint, business privacy standpoint. So anyway, heading out, and I'll be back here in Honolulu on Tuesday. So just a quick back down and out, and we'll definitely have see what I can do about getting a host for Monday's show and have a stand in here. But pretty excited, really, about everything that's happened this past week, with what's been going on. And there's been a lot of excitement about the Chromecast. Lots of people, lots of folks are making applications and developing stuff. And as I was reviewing content tonight for the show, I saw someone had put together an app, and they named it MyCast. And I was like, hey, we got a trademark on that. And not even really thinking, being a really kind of a knucklehead, on Google Plus, I said, hey, MyCast is a trademark of Raw Voice, contact, and I gave our legal email address, and I hit post, and about 15 seconds later, I'm like, why did you do that? And so kind of a dumb move on my part. We should just reach out privately, but immediately, this guy's supporters, which are fantastic. The guy's done a lot of different apps. They came and said, oh, this guy's a patent troll. I'm like, if you knew me, you would know I'm no patent troll whatsoever. So, kind of, it's things that happen. But, rushing, trying to get the show ready. I saw that. I'm like, oh, I need to make sure we talk to this guy. And and for those of you who are listening, I just, put a handgun to my head with a fake one, a finger. So anyway, I just kind of had to laugh there. The whole calling me a patent troll. Boy, if they only knew the truth. Oh my gosh, it is kind of funny. But anyway, so he's making cool apps, lots of cool stuff. He tied something to a Dropbox, so you can have videos and stuff up on Dropbox and send it to Chromecast, and so he's doing a lot of cool stuff. So I have to hand it to him for that. But one thing that we've done is, in all honesty, over the years, is we've actually licensed MyCast to a couple of companies when it's in a non-competing space, and we'll have to look at what he's doing and see if we can work something out. But anyway, it is just something important. You got to think about the cast thing is really hot right now. Chromecast, podcast, tech podcast, so it's all about the cast right now. So invariably, good minds think alike, when it comes to phrases and words and different types of stuff. So I can't blame someone for that whatsoever. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's get into the what have I got in my stack here? I got everything talked about. I think so. Yep, talked about, gave away the Chromecast, talk about my quick trip to the mainland. I think we're good. I think we can get into the content. I hope you guys, I was talking real quick with my mom, and hadn't really had a chance to talk to her all week. And this is a peak season for her from she's a produce broker, and it's like hot and heavy right now. Everything's coming off the vine, and the warehouse is full, and it's just really incredibly busy. But she had gotten a chance to listen to last week's new media show, and even though we had, oh man, the audio was like really, really rough. And, she says, she gave me was talking to me about a couple of things, and making some commentary about the back and forth we had. And I feel bad because that show had such a lot of great content, and then the audio connection on Skype was so horrendous with our guests that kept, that buzz kept coming in. We never had something like that happen before. But, you can tell very, very, the lady we had on last week was very, very passionate about her show and about her book and being a good salesman and, reaching out and, that's her trade. And as you know, as we've been going through this whole week, our whole trade is about the new media space, and it's our lifeblood is really on taking care of content creators. Really helping them push things to the next level. And I think with this show, and I really want to take, even though the business part of my life is on one side, I also got you guys on the other. We've got and it kind of, there's a little bit of molding here, but there's a time and a place to, we've been at this 881 episodes, and like today at like 6:15, I've been in here working, and I crawl on, I lay on the floor for about 15 minutes, and I'm like, I'm wiped, and then I have to switch gears, come out of business mode and get into show mode. And sometimes that's tough. It really, really is. And I think sometimes you guys can hear it, feel it, maybe even see it if you're watching. And I think you guys understand that. So when I'm slipping a little bit, you guys just give me a little jab, all right? Jab me back, give me an email, punch me in the face, and say, hey, you're slipping a little bit on us. So please do that when you feel the need to, because you guys are part of the family here, and it's my job to be always at my A game with you guys, and that's the game plan is to do that and try to, as we push through 1,000 or 2,000 shows, wherever the show's headed, we want to be able to be with you and make sure that we take care of both audiences, the audio and the video audience as well. So anyway, let's move on here. Getting way too sentimental, I guess, for better words. But let's talk about some developments in the tech space today. You guys, there's a company called LavaBit, and LavaBit was the company behind Snowden's email, and basically they ran his email service, or they had a service. But this is an interesting letter, and I'm going to read this from you. This is a guy by the name of Ladar Levison, and I don't know. I assume he's here in the United States, but this is a letter that he put on the website that after they pulled the plug. He says, I've been forced to make a difficult decision to become complicit in crimes against the American people or walk away from nearly 10 years of hard work by shutting down LavaBit. After significant soul searching, I have decided to suspend operations. I wish I could legally share with you the events that led up to my decision. I cannot. I feel you deserved to know what's going on. The First Amendment is supposed to guarantee me the freedom to speak out in situations like this. Unfortunately, Congress has passed laws that say otherwise. As things currently stand, I cannot share my experiences over the last 6 weeks, even though I have twice made the appropriate request. What's going to happen now? We've already started preparing the paperwork needed to continue to fight for the Constitution. The Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals, a favorable decision would allow me to resurrect LavaBit as an American company. The experience has taught me one very important lesson. Without congressional action or strong judicial precedent, I would strongly recommend against anyone trusting their private data to a company with physical ties to the United States. He says, defending the Constitution is expensive. Help us by donating to the LavaBit Legal Defense Fund. Now, can you imagine if you are the company that's been providing email to probably the most wanted individual in the United States right now? The heat that must have been applied to these guys had to be absolutely incredible. If they didn't bust their doors down, I would be surprised. And while he's not at liberty to say anything, I think what and I don't know how big this company was or how small and how many customers they had. I have no idea. But it should make all of you go, holy, should really think about this. So, if you are a small business or even a large business, or you work at a company that is small, how do you defend yourself? Because I think about our company, we're relatively small. And if someone like the U.S. government came and kicked our door in, that would be a pretty scary thing. I think and I think all of us can kind of relate to that. This guy just had a service, and he had this guy on here that If whether you call him a hero or someone that's committed treason, whatever side of the fence you're on, irregardless, you have to think about the companies that he did business with. The heat that must have just, man, like I told you guys, earlier, he's lucky he's not already face down in a ditch with 2 bullets in his head. Because, I think that if the powers, and this is just my speculation, the powers that be would wanted him off the map, he'd have been gone. But the heat that was put upon these companies, and you gotta have some compassion for them in having to make a decision like this. Now, I am sure, probably in just speculation on my part, but I would imagine he's refusing to turn over the servers or the data. But I don't know if he'd had any choice. Maybe they took everything. Maybe they took the hard drives. I don't know. But I'm sure we're gonna hear a lot more about this as time goes on. But when you hear someone that is and I don't know this guy's background from Adam, but when he says that I would strongly recommend against anyone trusting their private data to a company with physical ties to the United States, I think we ought to realize there's a lot of countries in the world that have probably been doing a lot of crazy things with people's data for a long time. And we already kind of know what the situation is here is in the U.S. But there's definitely, this is going to be an interesting election season coming up to see where different political candidates, draw their line in the sand and where they're going to be. And I'm sure some of you will probably vote one way or the other based upon, maybe this whole issue whatsoever. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts about this, just from a put yourself in this guy's shoes and having run a company, and if it's true that he's the email provider and everything else that goes along with it, and having to be told, hey, you have to turn over the stuff, and I think we all understand that when law enforcement comes calling and they have a subpoena in their hands, you risk going to jail if you basically say no, and you have to decide whether or not you're willing to fight or not. But they have pulled the plug, which to me is pretty interesting, and at what impact to their other customers. Now let's take this a step further. A company called Silent Circle, and maybe that's the actual name of the service, preemptively shut down their encrypted email service to prevent what they call NSA spying. They said, in a quote, this is what Silent Circle said: "We knew the U.S. government would come after us. That's why Silent Circle CEO Michael Jenke tells TechCrunch his company shut its silent mail encrypted mail it shut down its silent mail encrypted mail service. It hadn't been told to provide data to the government, but after LavaBit shut down today, rather than be complicit with NSA spying, Silent Circle told customer it has killed silent mail rather than risk their privacy." This is an interesting, so they're like, we're just going to give up. Now, I don't know if that was the right decision. And they had reported that their revenue had increased 400% month over month in July after enterprise corporate customers switched to its services in hope of avoiding surveillance. Silent Service offers other services, including silent phone and silent text. They will continue to operate as they do all the encryption on the client side within the user's devices. But it explained that the email that uses standard internet protocols cannot have the same security guarantees that real-time communication has, with too many opportunities for information and metadata leaks in SMTP, POP3, IMAP, and email protocols. The company believes there was no way to live up to its promise of total privacy. So that's another interesting move here, that a company has decided we're not going to be in this business. And but LavaBit, that's a whole different situation here. So we'll see what's going on with this. But this story is going to be ongoing for a long time. And I was talking with some folks about this earlier today. I said, what do you think? And, one guy told me, well, my email's secure. And I said, your email is never secure. Yeah, everyone is, your email is transmitting the Ethernets, no matter what. I said, it's someone if someone's got a tap in the middle, it's not secure. It's, your email is not traveling encrypted. Your email is traveling in ones and zeros that equal A B C D E, and it's not encrypted, and it's not with someone, a man in the middle. This is not a big it's not impossible. It's actually not hard for them just to suck everything in, and so nothing is secure on the email side. But wow, very interesting move here. I just wonder if a pretty good privacy PGP. I haven't looked in on that in a while. I wonder if that is doing some booming business at this time. Because really, if you want point-to-point conversations to remain secure, that's probably a pretty good encryption rate, encryption scheme to use for point-to-point stuff. Time will tell. Now, this is an article over in Tech Dirt. There's this article about their title of this is a little bit inflammatory. It says government considers dissatisfaction with U.S. policies to be a high threat. The administration's Insider Threat Program was discussed here basically at Tech Dirt a few weeks ago. Apparently, government has been running dangerously low on whistleblowers to prosecute, according to Tech Dirt, and is now seeking help from its employees in identifying threats to the government, some of which may be no more than a cubicle away. The National Spying Your Naval program, See Something, Say Something, has now been internalized, supposedly, by the government, which only encourages employees to view their coworkers with suspicion. Leaks equals aiding the enemy, according to official documents, and one can't be too careful in this post-Snowden climate of forced transparency. I spent 24 years in the Navy, and I've openly talked about, what I did with my job. I don't talk about, and I don't think I ever remember having the need to ever think something suspicious of a coworker. So this is and I have to talk to some of my friends that are still in government to see if they've had some of this that's been going on. But they actually show some sort of a screenshot from some sort of training program that the folks do, and it basically talks about different types of profiles. So it's kind of curious. But anyway, a little article on Tech Dirt about that. And I know we got a few government workers working for us, and I don't know. I'd love to hear from you guys. Are you being asked to spy on your neighbors in the next cubicle over? Email me. If you want to remain anonymous, it's fine. Just geeknews@gmail.com will work fine. Hey, we're in Gizmodo. And you guys you're gonna love this. And if you see one of these in a restaurant or somewhere, this is an RC tank that jams wireless signals in a 50-foot radius. So it's called the No Network tank. It doesn't fire at targets, as you can see, but instead it's equipped with a wireless jammer that blocks cell signals in a 20 to 50-foot radius around the tank, making it obviously very dangerous. I wonder if this is actually legal in the United States to own. Let me look at this. Is this available? Can you actually buy this thing? I'm scrolling down in the article. It was designed and built by a gentleman by the name of Julian Oliver, and the tank seems to be the perfect tool to ensure you're not interrupted when catching a movie, but you'll probably have a hard time sneaking this into a theater, as they say here on the article on Gizmodo. But Julian's also building a GPS and Wi-Fi blocking version of the tank, so he has an entire miniature squadron that guarantees peace and quiet wherever he goes. But yes, I think actually owning this and using this could get you a visit by Uncle Sam. The FCC doesn't take very kindly to people to jamming, and I don't want to be on the receiving end of that door kick. The jammer blocks communications in CDMA 87880, GSM 930 to 960, DCS 1805 to 1850, PHS 19 to 1920, 3G, and the 2010 to 2145 megahertz range. So Yeah, I think you probably would not be very smart to take this into a. Yeah, if you don't do this in your house, you might get away with it, but otherwise, this could end up badly for someone. All right, let's kind of switch gears here. Bitcoin's in the news, and Bitcoin's in the news in a big way. Bitcoin clampdown continues as federal judge says it's a currency. Well, Wikipedia calls Bitcoin a cryptocurrency, a currency that relies on cryptography. But now it's official. A federal judge in Texas has declared that Bitcoin is a currency and should therefore be regulated just like the U.S. dollar or gold. This ruling represents an attempt to regulate Bitcoin transactions, threatening the original purpose of the currency. When you get too big, the U.S. government's going to come in no matter what, and make it difficult for something to get beyond the regulatory controls. They're worried about people laundering money. Some of the early things with Bitcoin, people were allegedly buying illegal narcotics with Bitcoins, and instead of doing cash transaction, they were doing Bitcoin transactions, and then that's how they were paying for their goods. I don't know. This is. The Department of Homeland Security recently issued a seizure warrant on a Bitcoin exchange called Mt. Gox because it didn't comply with the money transfer regulations. Some of the other Bitcoin exchange were very, very quickly got on the bandwagon and are reporting transactions. But this is an interesting move. So Bitcoin's future, I guess, may become regulated instead of being like the Wild West. Hey, over at the Hacker Conference, this is a article that talks about a do-it-yourself stalker box that spies on Wi-Fi users cheaply and as our text says, with maximum creep value. This is a pretty open-eyed presentation, and they plug these things into a wall socket, and it basically looks at all Wi-Fi traffic and captures it, and it makes it available via an interface, and it does a pretty good job at looking at the stuff that's in the air, and you just think about what you send over Wi-Fi. But this thing was basically pulling some data out of the air that would make all of you, your eyeballs, get a little bit wide-eyed. An example of one of the screenshots from Creepy DOL shows some of the data collected on the creator of it, and it basically said, "Here's the header of this thing," and I'll see if I can. I don't know if I can blow this up or not. I don't think so. It says, using iOS push messaging with iOS 6.13 on iPad 3.1, using Forecast.io, and it talks about the location he was at, using LogMeIn, using a dating website, using a feed reader with real name Brendan O'Connor with his email address, talked about the MAC address that he had, and basically really kind of spying on this guy based upon the data that was, was being read over the Wi-Fi device. And he basically says that the Wi-Fi devices constantly send whenever they're turned on. He says what a lot of people don't realize is it's talking all the time. Whether or not it's connected, O'Connor said, of the Wi-Fi enabled mobile devices, which in his case happens to be an iPhone, every couple of seconds, every wireless device that's on is sending on a huge amount of personal identifiable information. If we have sensors spread out over an area, that it means it's sending out both an identifier and its location. Of course, he added, there's often a vast amount of personal data sent in the clear over the Wi-Fi connection itself. And use of a virtual private network app, which pipes data through an encrypted channel so it can't be monitored by other Wi-Fi devices, does less than many think to limit the information the creepy DOL can collect. That's because the iOS-applied VPN O'Connor used couldn't be activated until after his iPhone connected to the Wi-Fi network first. So he talks about this in detail, and it just goes to show you the data that can be collected just by average Joe that does a little do-it-your-home self project, builds, throws a little code at it, has a Wi-Fi receiver, and basically is out there capturing data. He doesn't show the inside design of this thing in this article. I don't know if I didn't go any deeper into the links, but he talked about this at the Black Hat conference last week. So this one here, if you read it, will also get your eyeballs a little bit wide-eyed in some of the stuff that they are able to detect. So it's just not, you guys are worried about, you're worried about what's going on, in the with the government. This is just some guy, some average Joe, who did a little, an inexpensive project, and but should make all of you sit back a little bit and scratch your chin, for sure. All right, Facebook. Let's talk about Facebook for a second. I go on Facebook, I get on, I read it real quick, and I get off. I don't spend a lot of time on Facebook, but Facebook is announcing that they are going to start running video ads. And as the register says, get in your face. Report says silent vids will land in every timeline. If I start getting silent vids in my timeline, it's going to really piss me off, and I think I'll be spending a lot less time on Facebook. The development team have reportedly got it so that these vids are 15 seconds or shorter. They're ads, and they're going to start appearing soon. They're going to be in maybe 3 to 4 ads per user per, week or something like that. The journal says Facebook will offer video ads for US $2 million a day to everyone on Facebook aged between 18 and 54. Global brands are reportedly to the target. So this is that's a huge amount of money for some ad spots, but it is Facebook. How many of you would like to have a God mode in Windows 7? We've got a bunch of techies here. Enthusiasts are buzzing over a trick that lets users get access to all of the operating system's controls in one folder. And this is very, very simple to set up. And it's actually a folder that you set up in Explorer, and you just put a little code behind it. It's just a little line of text, and it's basically a control panel that would contain dozens of control programs, and this is pretty slick. And Microsoft has been pretty silent on this. I don't think people were supposed to find this, but I'm looking at this. I'm like, whoa, that's cool. Excuse me, I almost sneezed on you. But by creating a new folder, Windows 7, and renaming it with a certain text string, at the end of the users are able to have a single place to do everything from changing the look of the mouse pointer to making a new hard drive partition. The trick is also said to work in Windows Vista, although some are warning that although it works fine in 32-bit version of Vista, it can cause 64-bit versions of that operating system to crash, so be forewarned. And anyway, I have the link up in the show notes. So if you want to play with Windows 7 in quote-unquote God mode, I have the link up in the show notes. Article over on Wall Street Journal talking about Moto X. Have any of you bought or picked up a Moto X? The Moto X, everyone is, there's a lot of positive buzz about this thing. And one thing that they really did different with the Moto X is you can basically configure this thing in just about a huge variety of different colors. You can get it in a different color, textures, and so forth. So, everyone wants something a little different these days. And, of course, Moto X is a $200 phone that, it's coming soon. Sorry, it's not available yet. That you can pre-order. And folks that are looking to buy Moto X are encouraged to walk through the steps on motomaker.com, which is, again, an online studio. So let's see if we can bring that up. Let me do a new tab here. Let's see where I'm at. Let's actually do it on this page. And we can actually look at this, and I'll try to explain to you guys that are listening what we're looking at. And the page is loading slowly. There we go. So, designed by you, assembled in the USA, it says. So this is a big ad. Now, where do I click? There's a video. I don't want to see for a video. All right, where do I? All right, I guess 360 color combinations, match accessories, mismatch accessories. I guess this is not open yet, or maybe it is. Yeah, the site's up. Anyway, I have the link up in the show notes. You guys can check it out. We won't waste any more time here. But wow, 360 different colors. That's cool. That's definitely different from an offering standpoint, isn't it? All right, over on the register, Google has basically shielded some open source cloud tech from patent trolls. They've added 79 infrastructure patents to non-aggression IP chest. So this is pretty cool. They've been doing this a little by little. They added 79 patents to basically their open patent non-assertion pledge. Now, this was created by Google in March as a way for the tech giant to guarantee it wouldn't unleash its lawyers on companies producing or dealing with free or open source software that infringed on patents. It launched a pledge covered 10 patents relating to the HADOP, and now it includes broader ones for infrastructure management. So there's a whole list here. Now, Microsoft did the same thing. They released some patents as well, basically saying they're non-compete. We won't sue you if you don't sue us, vice versa. So anyway, 79 more. I'd like to see Google step that pace up just a little bit. Those of you looking forward to the Xbox One, obviously you're going to have to pay more to get a lot of extra features. If you want Skype and if you want the gamer gratifying DVR where you can record a game that you're playing via the onboard DVR of the Xbox One, that's going to cost you some money. It doesn't going to come by default. It appears, and I don't know if this is going to be the total cost. Microsoft has confirmed is that all of these will require owners to pony up a $60 a year for Xbox Live Gold subscription on top of the console's $499 purchase price. On the plus side, Microsoft adding more hardware to the Xbox as it showed its unboxing video released on Thursday. Xbox One buyers will get a mono headset with microphone included for free, an item that would set them back in another $20 or so. So anyway, we'll see where this leads. But you just like everything else with Microsoft these days, and even with the current Xbox, you're going to need that gold Xbox Live Gold subscription. The challenge with that is you can't hardly find the family ones anymore. You know, I used to buy the family. I think it's good up to 4 or 5 players, and so it's it's $60 per person. If you just have if it's just you buy one for yourself or one user account. Each of us here in the house have our own characters or players on Xbox. So the family ones work best for us. LoadSys is in the news. LoadSys agrees to dismiss patent case against small developer for a charitable donation. So LoadSys continues to pressure developers both large and small to take out their own licenses for LoadSys patents, with many developers choosing to purchase licenses rather than fight in court. LoadSys now claims over 200 licenses for its patents. And this group has gotten beat down quite a bit already, but they continue to hammer away at people little by little. So basically, developer Todd Moore, whose firm's TYMsoft is responsible for several dozen iOS and Mac apps, LoadSys has curiously agreed to dismiss his case against him in exchange for an end to the dispute and a mutual charitable donation from the two sides. That's interesting. And they both agreed not to sue each other, and they made a donation. So I don't know. This is an interesting move here. And it really, if they're just trying to build some positive PR after getting beat down so bad or what, but interesting move by them for sure. But, Apple was basically, came in and to the developer's defense. And so maybe Apple got the better hand on these guys. I don't know. So we'll have to continue to watch this. On Reuters today, NSA says they're going to cut system administrators by 90% to limit data access. Apparently, they're going to get rid of about 900 jobs and reduce their system administrators to about 90. So I guess some people are going to be getting some pink slips here pretty soon. All right, you Apple fans out there, you know that the Apple operating system goes back. If you go in depth, it's got Unix at the core, and primarily FreeBSD. So what's kind of interesting here is that is really if you look at the developments over time, it's been part of their success is having this great core and then this great package wrapped around it. But the individual that Apple had hired, Jordan Hubbard, the creator of FreeBSD, who is lesser known but still thriving open source operating system based on Unix, he left Apple last month to return to the world of open source Unix, taking the chief technology officer position at IX Systems. It's a company that offers servers and other data center hardware that runs FreeBSD. So he is basically said, hey, I'm going to take my 12 years at Apple and I'm going to, basically work with this company to, bring our core package into this nice wrapper and have a more finished product. So this is kind of an interesting move here by this guy. And we have to see where he leads this and where he's going to go with this. But pretty exciting stuff for this company. A guy like him coming into a company like IX Systems and bringing the Apple work environment and how they've done stuff. It could be exciting to watch what they do. So any of you guys that are big FreeBSD fans, he hasn't submitted any code to it in a long time. And I just hope that he starts putting code back into the open source project part of it. All right, Google Play, books updated with textbook support, book rental capabilities. So if you are looking at the Google Play and you're looking at book apps in the book section, you can rent and purchase via the website. And then it can also be accessed in the iOS app itself as well. So that's big news here. So up on MacRumors.com. Article over on Space News. The U.S. Air Force is shutting down a key part of its network for tracking satellites and orbital debris as possibly as soon as October 1st. Basically, the Air Force has directed the Air Force Space Surveillance System be closed and all sites vacated by October 1st. This was deployed in the 1960s, and so they're pulling the plug on here. Let me see why. Is there anything? It's basically because of the sequestered budget environment, and they have to cut money where they can. Though part of a broader surveillance network, it's called the VHF space fence, is crucial because it can track objects up to 24,000 kilometers away. Other sensors in the network generally track objects at altitudes lower than a few thousand kilometers. They say that the space sensor is very important as it gives an uncued tracking capability because it's constantly transmitting. It can detect objects without being tasked to do so. There are some sensors in the network that can do uncued tracking to some degree, but the space sensor is rather unique in the sheer size of the detection coverage it has. So this is plugs being pulled on this, and they didn't basically this was under contract to be run by a bunch of another company, some contractors, and they didn't opt for the 5th year of the contract. So makes you wonder if this is going to leave a hole in basically our looking into space and seeing what's coming at us. How many of you got to use GoGo? If you've flown on American or any of the United or Delta flights that have had GoGo, I guess even Alaskan Airlines have it as well. Apparently, people are just, going crazy over GoGo while they're flying. And they basically had a $49.8 million quarter. And they're very, very happy with their revenue. And the average aircraft brought in an average of $25,600 in the second quarter. Now, those systems, I'm sure, probably were $1 to 2, maybe $3 million to install in the aircraft, based upon just it's just a lot more expensive to put stuff in airplanes, and 25,600 is kind of a low number if you think about the cost to deploy this thing. So we'll have to see where this goes, but they've got 312 planes that can tap into their network's higher speeds. So we'll see where this leads. But I have never been on a flight that had that available to be utilized. Hey, Roku is updated their iOS app, and it lets users stream videos to their television. Similar to Apple TV AirPlay, the new Roku iOS update allows users to beam videos recorded and stored on their mobile devices to their TVs. So a little bit of a game change. They're trying to keep up here. With the new 2.3 update, users can now stream videos on their iOS devices. So the new functionality is part of an update Play on Roku feature that the company announced last September. And so you can do photos, videos, and see what else is it. It's not a handoff. I believe it's a direct stream. So the iOS feature is supported on Roku 3, Roku 2, new Roku HD, Roku LT players, and the Roku streaming stick. And the Roku app is obviously available via the iOS store. So we have to update that and take a look. Okay. Someone's saying in the chat room, this is the beginning of the end for Facebook. And then Sly Fox goes on to say, oh, man, I still find it crazy that the Android open source project development manager quit because of Qualcomm. Oh, I don't know the story on that, dude. You're going to have to give me a link. And I don't follow the Unix open space enough. Over on CNET, I guess they got a tip that Fox News says Apple board is concerned about the pace of innovation at Apple. Fox Business Charlie Gasparino reported from solid sources that Tim Cook's job isn't in jeopardy, but the pressure's on to innovate and do something fast. Yeah, because Android's kicking their butt in a big, big way. So, from the amount of sales, adoption, and so Apple's got to get moving here to kind of stem that flow. If they don't, they're still making a lot of money, but we've seen where Apple's went in the tank before. Apple TV is said to be getting Vivo music video app. Here's what they need to do with Apple TV. They need to get off their high horses. They need to update this thing so we can put apps right into the Apple TV. They got to do that. We've been expecting that for a couple of years, but Vivo's is said to be getting an app directly on the Apple TV. If they're just about revenue on the Apple TV, they're going to get their lunch ate here soon, because we don't use Apple TV very much anymore. We're using the Roku. We're using Chromecast, using Google TV. Apple TV is kind of almost like last on our list of devices to use because it's, in my opinion, it's just fell behind. So we'll see where this goes. But, Vivo's also has apps for Roku, Xbox Live, and BlackBerry Playbook tablets. So this is not, Apple's not the first, for sure. CBS, Time Warner are still fighting it out. The blackout of CBS channels for Time Warner cable subscribers has been going on for about a week now, and the two sides continue to blame each other's stance on digital content terms for lack of progress in the ongoing negotiations. Okay, whatever. Watch something else. If you shop at Best Buy is apparently offering a lot of deals. And from August 9th to August 11th, you're going to get some serious deals on basically your mobile devices. The store is offering double trade-in value on most mobile devices between August 9th and August 11th. And so that's cool. What else? Best Buy is doing deals on tablets on Friday and Saturday. Customers can get a guaranteed $150 trade-in value for a working first-generation Google Nexus 7 and Nexus 10. Only $50? Are they smoking crack? You keep it for $50. Give it to your kid. That's not a trade-in value. It really isn't. $50? Nope, no thank you. Hey, you know something? I saw this today, and I kind of thought when you guys are, those of you who are listening, Gizmodo is talking about an app of the day that's called Kimi. So Kimi is an app for iOS, and it keeps your spare set of keys in the cloud. So all you got to do is scan a key, and then it basically detects what type of key it is and the byting code. And all you have to do is, take this to a locksmith, and they can make you a key. I find this to be pretty incredible. So it takes a scan of your house key and generates coded instructions that any locksmith or key maker will be able to read. So you can make a copy of your keys anywhere in the world, no matter what situation you find yourself in. The code contains one line and instructs which blank to start with, and another line with a series of numbers that dictate the depth of the key's teeth. Once you save your key, you can even share the instructions with a friend if you need be. I want to see if it actually works. But kind of scary. You're going to store this in the cloud? This company better have some serious security on this. Because they get a hold of your phone or get access to this, your car, your home, everything else is free reign, So while it's the app of the day at Gizmodo, I do caution you on the security procedures on this thing. But I'm going to tell you, it is a pretty innovative app. It's very, very cool. If you want to know what happened at DEF CON, there's a documentary about the hacking conference. I'll have that link up in the show notes. And it's about a 2-hour video. It's up on Vimeo, and we'll have a link up there for you to check it out. Trucker Tom Wells, one of our writers at Geek News Central, put up an article talking about the print magazine sales plunge. And it's kind of interesting because I've gotten a number of emails over the past week from a certain digital magazine company, and they're actually saying, hey, you can give away 10 magazines on your blog or on your podcast. And this is the first time we've ever had someone reach out to us and say, hey, you can give away 10 magazines. So we're looking into it and deciding whether we want to do it or not. But this may go into the same stuff that Tom's talking. Of course, this is about the print side. But according to this article that Tom wrote, single copy print magazine sales plunged by another 10% in the first half of 2013, according to the Alliance for Audited Media. That's huge. Now, even back in the 80s and early 90s, there was only a handful of magazines that I ever subscribed to. Just part of it was I couldn't afford to subscribe to them at the time. But, well, I was in Barnes & Noble maybe 2 weeks ago. I think I was somewhere, and the kids basically said, we're in Barnes & Noble, and I walked in there, and they were just kind of browsing. We weren't actually buying because we buy everything digital. And they go to the library and check stuff out. But I walked around the magazine rack, and I was really kind of shocked, and I hadn't really even looked at a magazine rack in a couple of years, and there was a huge number of, I would say, 20 to 30 age group type magazines, and then of course a lot of car magazines, photograph magazines. The list goes on, but there was hardly anyone even looking at the magazine rack. There was it used to be is like there would be a crowd around it, right? There's just 1 or 2 people were standing there looking at stuff, and I think I was, count me as one of those too. But I think no one wants my iPad goes everywhere with me, and it is it's just changed. I know you guys still get magazines, If you do you get, is it because you got free ones? And oftentimes I get magazines from some trade groups I belong to, and it kind of irritates me. And I'm like, I go online and look for the digital version of it. It's just wasting money in mailing me a magazine because they usually end up in the trash. Another article that was written over at Geek News Central by Alan, one of our writers. Radio induces Pandora-like channels. So this is an update for radio. So if you use RDIO radio, you can definitely check it out. But we know that the digital music market continues to heat up with a growing amount of competitors. You got Pandora, Spotify, Google Music, All Access, Xbox Music, and others. So radio has announced it will try to stay competitive by introducing customized personal channels for your music. So very, very cool. He's got a review on that. You can definitely I should have rolled this up for you. You can definitely check that out over at Geek News Central. Final article on Geek News Central was by Jen, and she talks about the update to their new news feed algorithm. And it always irritates me. I go to Facebook and, I have to click on my custom list to basically see the different feeds from folks that I know instead of it all being there for me in one stack. But apparently they're doing something new that might make it easier for you to find things you might actually want to read in your news feed. They've made changes to the special juice that will allow it to respond to signals from you. Ideally, this result in you seeing more engaging, interesting things at the top of your Facebook news feed. So we'll see. And it also takes in how people interact and so forth. But I still would like to see more stuff in there. Anyway, cool article by Jen. You can read the full details, of course, over on the website. All right, some stuff that's been popped here. Microsoft wants to give callers email-like important flag. So you get an email, and it's flagged important, and it's basically some advertisement. How would you like a phone call that would come in that would set a flag that would say, this is an important phone call, you need to take it? I think I know who's important on phone calls by just looking at the call waiting and decide whether I'm going to answer, if I'm going to ignore it. Those of you in the UK, the new Nexus 7 is going to be coming on August 28th. That's the rumors on the street. So just a short time from now, about 20 days from now. Acer is going to be expanding its Android and Chromebook lineup, offering fewer Windows devices. It's an interesting move here. And so we'll see where this leads. It's just a sign of the times that maybe Windows 8 is on the wane. Park Me updates Android app with real-time street parking info. I might need that come next week, so I'm going to load that app up on my Android device, because parking on the street when you're in a city, it can be my wife can get in the car, and we can go somewhere. She can drive into a parking lot or on a side street, and boom, there's a spot. She says, I have my parking angel. If she's with me and I'm driving, we will go around and around, up, down, backwards, sideways, crossovers, crisscross, and there will never be an open spot. And she'll be like, stop the car. And I'll invariably stop the car, get out, hang my head, walk to the passenger side. She'll get in the driver's side, and with 30 seconds, boom, there's a parking spot. I don't know how she does it. I really don't. But maybe I can change the odds a little bit in my favor and use this Park Me app and see if this thing will actually work. Because I think part of it is you get frustrated, and fellas, nothing worse than being late for something and trying to find parking. I lose my mind, but I think this is only going to be available in a few locations initially: San Francisco, Los Angeles, Austin, a few other cities. Please, 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 the folks, bring this to Hawaii. We need this here, the Park Me app. And if you've got it, I'd love to hear what you think about it. Okay, one word of warning here. If you're going to be using Chromecast and you're going to be sending videos to your television via your browser, you may not want some stuff showing up in your browser history, if you know what I mean. So we're going to leave that to your imagination as what those things might be. With that in mind, the folks at Android Central put together a brief walkthrough to basically explain how to use Chromecast and basically the incognito incognito tabs. And this might be something you'll want to pay attention to. And actually flip this switch. It's pretty easy to do so. so that you may not get, how should we call it, embarrassed when you try to find something and bring up the history list and there's something listed in there that maybe you don't want someone to see. So just be aware, okay? That this it's just like okay. So for example, if I bring this over here, and what I'm showing is, for those of you who are listening, I'm showing my browser, and at the top you can go www dot, and then you start typing. It's going to give you the list of websites that you have recently visited. So, have you ever given someone your laptop and they like, oh, and maybe they saw something as they were starting to type a certain word sequence? Uh, you could end up having a little bit of an embarrassing moment because maybe YouTube is something is listed before that. You could end up having one of those moments. I'm just saying. So definitely use the incognito function in Chrome so that you don't have one of those, that little sheepish thing like, oh, well, you bust me, right? It's one thing is when it's adult to adult, but it's another situation altogether when it's adult to a kid, because that could really turn into something that you don't want to have to explain. All right, Japan has launched a cargo spacecraft to the International Space Station. H2 rocket successfully launched the fourth in a series of Japanese cargo spacecraft to ISS on early Sunday. The H-2B rocket lifted off from the Tanegashima Space Center 348 and released the HTV-4 spacecraft into orbit 15 minutes later. And the cargo spacecraft is scheduled to arrive at the berth ISS on August 9th. And the HTV-4 carries more than 2,400 kilograms of supplies and equipment in the spacecraft's pressurized section, as well as more than 800 kilograms of unpressurized cargo. So this is pretty cool. And they're actually bringing up a small Japanese talking robot dubbed the Karobo, and a new task board components for the robotic spacecraft servicing experiment on the ISS. So very, very cool stuff here. The Japanese, nice successful launch. Proton rocket vehicles will return to flight in September. The two Russian launch vehicles will return to service in September after a disastrous launch failure. So they're going to be doing some more launches with some satellites that hopefully will make orbit and not get blown up just as they lift off the pad. Internet TV broadcaster Aereo continues to grow. And basically, they're going to be launching services in Dallas, Houston, and Miami in September. So if you live in one of those cities and you're listening to this show, make sure you get your Aero subscription set up. So congratulations to Aero on their continued growth. And, of course, you can the cloud-based DVR service pushes free over-the-air television content to your mobile device, browser, or Roku box. So $8 a month. And that's, the magic price for any video service, it seems. How many of you are a Thor fan? The new Thor, the Dark World trailer has Game of Thrones level bleakness. The guy who basically previously directed Game of Thrones is basically helping in the latest Thor movie, and apparently it's pretty dark. So those of you that are Game of Thrones fans, this new Thor should prove to be an interesting movie. Of course, our most beloved YouTube founders, the men behind YouTube, basically have Chad Hurley and Steve Chen have launched a new site called Mixbit that enables users to shoot, edit, and stitch together videos that can be uploaded to the site and remixed. So another site, mixbit.com, and the site is as you would expect. Let me actually bring it up here. Copy, paste, and go. And they've got some, it's nice. It's, a simple design for a video site, but some pretty cool videos up there. I was playing with it earlier, and definitely check it out at mixbit.com. Definitely download the app and play around with it. Over on Tech Dirt, pace of cord cutting continues to quicken. So Moffett research founder and analyst Craig Moffett said midday Tuesday that evidence of cord cutting has become more apparent in the last set of figures. For the second quarter, publicly traded pay TV companies recorded a combined video subscriber decline of 380,000, and that's about the same as last year. Moffett said household information, however, was better than a year ago, meaning that the change in pay TV penetration was worse. So, hey, those of you that have cut the cord, congratulations. The president made an interesting statement a couple of days ago. He says, we do not have a domestic spy program. Okay. I'll just leave you guys to read the Tech Dirt article on that on your own. Here's an interesting comment by the Time Warner CEO. He says, having Game of Thrones is the most pirated is better than an Emmy. That's an interesting comment. He basically said, in response to questions about whether the network's kind of sort of regards the extensive theft of HBO's flagship show Game of Thrones as a compliment, he basically said, I have to admit, I think if you're right, wait a minute. Games was a compliment. Bukes, B-E-W-K-E-S. That's not the, he's the CEO of Time Warner, said, I have to admit it. I think you're right. The much-discussed fantasy series is HBO's most popular, and if you go to people who are watching it without subs, it's a tremendous word-of-mouth thing, the exec told investors. We've been dealing with this for 20 or 30 years. People sharing subs, running wires down the backs of apartment buildings. Our experience is that leads to more paying subscribers. I think you're right that the Game of Thrones is the most pirated show in the world. He said, that's better than Enemy. So maybe they're admitting, without really saying it, that because Game of Thrones is such a hit that it's driving more people to HBO. I'll be honest with you. It's one of the few reasons I still have HBO is Game of Thrones. I'm enthralled with the series. I really am. And, as bloody and as ugly as it's gotten, is the twists and turns that really irks you and some of the stuff that they've done and the people they've killed off in the show. I mean, I don't know where they're going to find more actors. They keep axing people, literally. And next season is got to be, and of course now I'm thinking, okay, do I read the book and do I completely spoil next season? I'm so tempted to just go read the book, but I'm trying to hold off because I just love the video series so much. Interesting that Time Warner and HBO would say that. Talking on the phone while driving, not so dangerous after all. New research where it takes advantage of increase in cell phones use after 9 p.m. due to the popularity of free nights and weekends showed no corresponding increase in crash rates. Additionally, the researchers analyzed the effects of legislation banning cell phone use enacted in several states and similarly found that the legislation had no effect on crash rates. Here's the reason. People are not they don't care about the law. They're still talking on the phone. I don't think people, here in Hawaii, there's all kinds of hands-free laws, but every day I see people with the phone up to their ear. I think people are still crashing cars on the phone, but they're just, they're not getting cited for it. They hurt somebody, they're being found out, and, they have serious consequences. But I don't think people are paying attention to the cell phone laws, really. This is an interesting thing, and I would have never really kind of thought about doing this when I was active duty, when I was single. Of course, Craigslist wasn't available when I was single because it hadn't been invented yet. But soldiers looking for hookup on Craigslist are being warned of a military sting. Word has it there's a military sting operation by soldiers in Iraq and Afghanistan who are using Craigslist to find casual hookups. And now troopers are being warned to keep their exploits on the lowdown. It all started when a news article published last week in Army Times suggested that undercover military police were trolling Craigslist Baghdad personals to catch officers posting lewd photos looking for hookups. The Baghdad site is presumably a product of the war in Iraq, though most of the posters are now deployed in Afghanistan. Well, that's an interesting situation here. A year, 2 years on deployment, and you get these guys get pretty lonely. And speaking of the Middle East, camels may transmit new Middle Eastern virus. Apparently, there's a new mysterious virus that's going around, and it's killed a number of people in the Middle East. and they feel that it may be from a unlikely population of retired racing camels. I heard that the bird virus or whatever it is, bird flu stuff, is they've found some human to human transmissions, and they're actually starting up some testing right now to see how bad it's going to be. But anyway, it just goes to show you that the fine line between, you know, your camel gets sick and your owner gets sick. Bizarre. All right, Microsoft working on a new Surface tablet, and I actually demoed my tablet today, my Surface tablet. I demoed it to a guy who's considering buying one. I said, "Why don't you just buy a laptop?" I says, it's running Windows 8. It's fine, but it's, he said, "Well, I might get the Pro version." I'm like, "Well, not just buy a laptop." He says, "Well, it's smaller." And I said, "Well, just get an Android device. Why do you need this?" And he wants a full blown version of Windows 8, but he wants it small enough. It's not complicated. So I guess maybe that's the target market that Microsoft was looking for, because he's pretty convinced to buy one. All right, those of you in the market for a new vehicle, which I still am, the Honda Fit, 86 miles per gallon for the next hyper-efficient hybrid. So this is pretty cool. The 2014 version of the Honda Fit could get to 86 miles per gallon. That's a 35% improvement in fuel economy. I think it gets 76 miles before, but 86 miles. Well, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to have to take a serious look at that 2014 model. And that's going to wrap us up for articles tonight. Let me go ahead and where are we at on time? Oh, man, we're long. Let's look at the email that I have received. And today is August 8th. Last show was on the 5th. Oh, man, there was a bunch of stuff here. All right, we had, Bill, Max, Jason, Mal, Christian, Brian, Sam, Mason, Michael, Charlie, Ron, who else? Another Michael, Peter, who else? Dale and Lodi, and Nicholas, all basically were in the running for a Chromecast. So let me look here and see if anyone left a good comment. I want to thank, Jeffrey Powers over at Geekazine. He started the daily podcast back in August 2009, and he's proud that he's been putting a podcast a day for almost 1,500 days. And at the end of September, he's going to hit 1,500 episodes of that. So that'll be coming up here soon. Congratulations to Jeffrey on that. And let's see here. Dale, apologize. I just saw your note. Oh, no, I got you. Let's see here. Who else? Got an email here from Peter in the UK. Said, "Hey, Todd, I found 2 articles that might be interesting. Talks about the BMW i8 specs and IBM research revealing new silicon chip foundation." I'll have that in the show notes. And, of course, Michael's out in South Dakota. And let's see here. What else? I'm trying to look and see if anybody... Hey, Mason, thanks for being here from Single Digit Days, man. I appreciate you being here for 800 plus shows, man. That's fantastic. Thank you for being here. Of course, Sam as well. Brian, Christian. I got another one from Brian. Says, "I'm a show or two behind, but this is a response to the question on the first about how we're reviewing our media. Currently, we are almost exclusively Netflix via our Wii and Roku, but we just canceled our cable and plan on subscribing to Hulu Plus when the fall shows come back on, since we get crappy antenna reception. In the meantime, we also sometimes watch network shows from the website via my laptop, connecting it via HDMI to the TV. Both services combined cost less than half our cable bill, which is only antenna service plus some craptacular channels that we never watch." And Brian, thank you for saying that this is still the best podcast you listen to. I do appreciate it. Mal, didn't make it on this one either. And this one is not junk. So let me click that. What else here? I want to make sure I got everyone, if anyone had any additional comments. And I think that was it. Yep, that's all. That's all for today. All right, folks. Hey, just went through them, tried to fast, and see if anybody had any hardcore comments. But thanks for the ride here. It's been fantastic. 881 episodes, and we are, again, like I said, I'll be out for Monday's show. I can't hump the gear to my location, hump it back. It just doesn't make any sense to do that. So we'll see if we have a guest for the show. Maybe we'll try to do that. If not, I'll be back with you a week from today. Actually, we're going to be here on Saturday for the new media show. So it's going to be a good one. I absolutely guarantee it. So come out on Saturday and watch. And I want to appreciate everyone for coming out tonight. And actually, for those of you that are listening still on the live stream, thanks for being here. And everyone else, take care. We'll see you next time. And aloha.